Greetings, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice. Class today will be a 60-minute Vinyasa flow class, all levels. I'll provide lots of modifications along the way, with it being an all levels class, so yogis of any experience level will be able to find a pace and a path for them today. And for class, the focus today will be concentration and coordination. So that really is a central theme in any class, but I want to really bring some light to it today. So as we have Coney here and Oliver might make an appearance as well, I want to just thank you all for joining me on this Wednesday morning, or if you're watching somewhere later, maybe you have some friends or family or some critters nearby as well to accompany you. It's just great to have you here. As far as props, I have a couple of blocks nearby. Nothing is super planned for today, but if you typically do practice with props, you can have them nearby. With it being a vinyasa class, we'll definitely flow, so we'll introduce a lot of movement into our coordinating poses. So I really want you to pay attention to the transitions of each poses and really holding each one. Lots of benefits for concentration as far as more physical or even mindful improvements, and just being able to focus on your breath throughout class will be essential. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Meet me in a nice cross-legged seat, ankles underneath the knees. Once you find your seat, make sure you're rooting down through your sit bones, rising up through the crown of your head to create a nice long spine. If you already feel like this is difficult to sit up straight, either your knees are up very high or you're falling back and you feel like you have to constantly hold on to your knees, try to place a little bit of elevation underneath your sit bones. Either use a block or you can roll up your mat or place a towel underneath. Begin here with just some very gentle breathing. So make sure you find a nice, comfortable seat that you can settle into for a minute or two as we begin our practice here. Try to soften the shoulders away from the ears, and arms can be resting wherever they come most naturally, maybe on the knees, maybe in the lap, or perhaps bringing the heart center. As we work through these gentle breaths, you have the option to keep your eyes closed or maybe your gaze closed. Softly, just choose what comes most naturally to you. And as you do these breathings, I give you the option to keep your mouth closed and try to breathe just through your nose. Take another moment here to settle in. All right, let's exhale out all the energy from the body. Start by exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Closing your lips and inhaling through the nose. Nice, long, slow, deep inhale. And slow, deep exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Keep the mouth closed if you can. Keep inhaling. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Keep that same pace. Trying to equalize your inhales and your exhales. And as you breathe, especially when you inhale, try to fill up your entire body, chest, lungs, collarbones expand. And as you exhale, really let everything compress. Your ribs come in closer, belly drops, all the air exhales out. It's very slow, conscious breathing here. Maybe you started with the pace that we began with. And as time goes on, your inhales and your exhales lengthen. Remember, slow, deep inhales, filling up everything. Belly, chest, collarbones expand. And exhaling deeply, letting everything fall. Collarbones, chest, and belly fall down. Take 3 more breaths on your own. One more breath here. And gently return to your normal breathing. If your eyes were closed, you can gently blink your eyes open. Stay in a seat, but we'll switch the crossing of our shins. So bring the opposite shin on front. Ankles back underneath the knees. Make sure you're nice and rooted down. Extend the arms down nice and long to your sides. Again, create a nice long spine, but soften those shoulders down. On your inhale, let's bring those arms out and up overhead. Exhale, turn the palms out and down to the sides. 3 more times, just like that. So inhale, nice, deep, complete breaths here. And exhale, releasing the arms down. 2 more times. Inhale, up, arms overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, out and down, keeping the arms nice and long. 1 more here. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, out and down. We'll add some twists. So we'll keep going. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to your right, release both arms to the outsides. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. And exhale, turn to your left. We have 3 more times each way. So inhale, create length in your spine. Exhale, add your twist to the right. Inhale up through center. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale through center, 2 more each way. Exhale to your right and release. Inhale through center. Exhale to your left. Let's do 1 more each way. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, come back up through center. And exhale as you release the hands through center and down to your sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Adding a side lean. So inhale, bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Keep the right arm up. Release the left fingertips down to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale as you send those right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, side bend to the left. Keep your right sit bone rooted. You can start to walk those left fingertips out if you'd like, but keep the bicep next to the ear so the torso moves all in one here. And keep that right sit bone rooted. If you feel like it popping up, just back off a little. Really create space in both sides of the body, not just the right side, but also reducing any crunching in those low side ribs. Hold for 1 more breath. Use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back up through center, both arms overhead. Keep your left arm up, release the right fingertips to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale as you send those left fingertips to the sky. And exhale, side bend over to the right side. Again, use these easy, gentle movements as opportunities to really create nice, slow, deep inhales and exhales. Coming back to your breath. Holding here for 1 more breath. Keep softening the shoulders away from the ears. And then inhale up through center, both arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right, let's move forward into tabletop. Either roll over your knees, nice and gentle, or send your legs off to the side. We'll meet in tabletop with wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet to the mat. So this is our typical tabletop pose. We'll start by warming up the wrist a little bit. Turn your fingertips so they face out to the side and the palms face in. So fingers face out. Okay, looks like a little issue with the connection again. We'll give it a minute just to make sure. Looks like the connection's okay. Okay, let me head back to the mat. Thank you, Ellen. All right, nice long tabletop. Let's come back to tabletop. Bring your fingers back to normal so fingers are facing forward. Firm those outer upper arms in, elbow creases face forward. Moving into our cow cat. So let's inhale as we drop the navel, heart forward, look up. And exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Keep going 3 or 4 more times on your breath. Nice slow movements here. Articulating the spine. Coming back into your tabletop. And then gently resting your hips back on your heels, lifting your chest up. Just make sure the stream is still okay here. Okay, looks like I can see myself. I think we are good. All right, fingers crossed we're good for the rest of practice here. All right, so with your hips back on your heels, if this is uncomfortable for you, you can always place a block in between your feet or just come back into a cross-legged seat, whatever works best for you. Doing a little more wrist work here. So bring the backs of your hands to touch and then start to make circles with your wrists. Try to keep the bottoms of your wrists touching the entire time. Just nice, gentle, slow circles here. Coney's investigating for me. He's trying to see if there's anything going on with the Wi-Fi or what. All right, begin to slow and let's move in the opposite direction. Those of you that were watching last week, you may have seen the dog stop by. The dog is watching us from the gate. I know Coney can see the dog, so they're checking out each other, but I don't think the dog can get in this time. Okay, let's release that. Just shake your wrists and arms out a little bit. Let's come back through to tabletop. And from your tabletop, make sure your knees are below your hips. This time, drop your elbows where your wrists are. Come into forearm tabletop. Still keeping the spine nice and long, so chin slightly tucked. Tailbone draws back towards the back edge of your mat. Crown of the head draws forward. We'll do cows and cats to the sides. So move your hips and your head to the right as your shoulders move to the left. And then opposite way. So hips and head move to the left as shoulders move to the right. So we're articulating the spine kind of in the opposite orientation than we typically do in our cow-cats, and we're on our forearms here. So again, it's still easy to drop the belly down, so keep drawing the navel in and up, keeping the belly engaged, spine nice and long here. All right, let's meet back in center, still in your forearm tabletop. Curl the right toes under, extend the right toes back. Now extend the left arm forward, fingertips to the mat, thumb up, pinky down. Option to stay here if you'd like to advance. Lift that right leg up to hip height. Keep flexing the toes so they face down. And then left arm lifts up to shoulder height. And keep drawing the navel in and up to draw the shoulder blades away from each other and down your back. Chin slightly tucked, spine nice and long. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your forearm tabletop. Recenter, we'll move to the opposite side. So curl the left toes under, extend the left leg back. Start with the toes on the mat, and then extend the right arm forward, fingertips to the mat. Again, option to stay here if you'd like to advance. Lift that left leg up and back to hip height. Raise the right arm up, bicep next to ear. Just an option. With the palm facing in, you're still flexing those back toes. Whether the toes are raised or on the mat, you still spin that inner left thigh in and up towards the sky. Keep drawing the navel in and up. Hold for one more breath here. And exhale, gently release back into your forearm tabletop. Let's send our hips back to our heels. Keep your forehead low towards the mat, lower into your child's pose. Take 3 or 4 breaths in your child's pose. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You always have the option to set your intention here. Maybe you have a mantra that you want to repeat. Just take a moment for yourself, just to observe why you're here today. 2 more breaths here in your child's pose. All right, let's gently lift ourselves back up. Come back into full tabletop, so wrist underneath the shoulders. Let's curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under. Come into your plank pose. Hold your plank pose for 3 breaths. Really firm those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases start to face forward. Tailbone draws back towards the ankles. Hold for 1 more breath. And on your exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take our dog for our walk. It's our first down dog of the day, so if you'd like, maybe you lift one heel and lift the other. Maybe you drop one shoulder lower than the other, adding a little twist here. Just take 3 or 4 breaths to move and groove on your own. You can always drop down into tabletop if you need. Pedal out your legs this way as well. 2 more breaths here in your movement. Just find what works for you. Last breath. All right, let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips with distance, stay in your forward fold. Ragdoll pose to grab opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Have a slight bend in your knees if you'd like, resting your chest on your thighs. Let the crown of your head draw down towards the mat as your hips lift up towards the sky. If you'd like, you can gently sway from side to side, rocking back and forth. Then switch whichever forearm is on top, reclasping the elbows. Coming back down through center. Meet me in stillness, releasing your arms. Pressing down through your feet will come up to standing, but nice and slow. So press down through your feet, spin the inner thighs in and back, and start to lift and stacking one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow, rolling up the spine. Once you come up to stand, lift your arms out and up overhead, palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. 1 more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Adding a standing side lean. This time, bring your big toes to touch, heels slightly separated. Inhale, bring those arms up overhead. And exhale, release the right arm down, right fingertips to the mat. With the left fingertips up to the sky, inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, side bend to the right side. So just like when we were seated, we were really pressing down through both feet, creating length in both sides. Maybe those right fingertips start to draw down the side of your leg here. Shifting a little more weight into that left foot, but keep the bicep next to the ear. Hold for 1 more breath. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. And exhale, release the left fingertips down with the right fingertips up to the sky. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, side bend over to the left. So again, bicep next to ear, creating length in both sides of the body. Avoid twisting, so keep your shoulders and your pelvis facing forward. Shift a little more weight into the right foot, pressing down into the mat. 1 more breath. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Keep the arms up overhead, we'll add a twist standing. So take a nice deep inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist to your right, open both arms out to the side, shoulder height. Inhale back through center. And exhale, twist to your left. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale through center. And exhale, twist left. 2 more times each way. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale through center. And exhale, twist left. This last one here, try to keep your try to keep your pelvis neutral. And exhale, twist left. Coming back to center, both arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Meet me back at the top of your mat if you're not already. And bring your feet to hips with distance, arms down to the side, palms face forward. Press down through all four corners of the feet. Try to lift your kneecaps up to engage the muscles in your legs. Draw the tailbone down, lift those frontal hip points up, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Let's add some movement. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Bring your hands to the tops of your shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Back up to standing, press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Let's add on. Inhale, arms up overhead, nice long arms. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Let the crown of your head draw down. Then inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine, shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, rebend, forward fold. This time, bend your knees to plant your palms on the mat. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back into your plank pose, holding plank for 3 breaths. You can always drop down to your knees. Just make sure you're firming those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases start to face forward. And in a moment, we'll move through our vinyasa together. So let's all drop our knees down. Inhale as we shift forward. With the elbow creases facing forward, we'll bend our elbows so the elbows draw back, lowering our entire torso to the mat, all in one piece. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Press your feet down, press your hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Keep your low rib tips on the mat, drawing the tailbone towards the ankles. On your next exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under. Press yourself up through knees down plank pose, and then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 3 to 4 breaths. We'll be moving through those couple of poses strung together, typically referred to as a vinyasa. If you have any other variation, feel free to take that when we move through our vinyasa, or feel free to follow along with me as I'll advance as we move through practice. All right, one more breath here in your down dog. Thanks, Connie. All right, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips with distance. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. One more time. So press down through your feet. Inhale, arms raise out and up overhead. Exhale, keep that length and hinge forward at the waist, releasing your crown of the head and arms to the mat. Inhale as you lift halfway, bring your hand to the tops of your shins, torso parallel to the mat. And then exhale, forward fold, plant your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank pose. Just as with last time, we'll hold this for 3 breaths. Again, you always have the option to drop down to your knees, and we'll move through another variation of our vinyasa. So let's all drop down to our knees. Inhale as we shift forward. Bend your elbows. Exhale as you lower all the way to the mat. Top of the feet down. Press your hips down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra, or maybe straighten the arms into full cobra. Either way, shoulders over wrists. Draw the ankles in towards the midline. Tailbone to the back of the heels. Exhale, release all the way back down. Forehead or nose to the mat. Curling the toes under. Keep the knees down. Lifting yourself up in a knees down plank pose. Hips lift up and back. Downward facing dog. Holding in your down dog for 3 breaths here again. Nice, slow, deep inhales and exhales. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Ankles draw back and down. One more breath here. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, let's face the long edge side of your mat. So come to the center, start in your Tadasana pose, and then separate your legs out wide, about one leg's distance apart. Just make sure your feet are nice and parallel still, so you still have your ankles in line with the center toes. Now bring your hands to your hips to start. Use your thumbs to draw your tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Adding a forward fold here. So on a nice deep inhale, lift your heart to the sky. Keep all that length, and on your exhale, send your heart forward and start to gently lower your torso forward. Keep pinning the side hips in. Once you lower about halfway, you can slightly tuck your chin, releasing your arms down to the mat or to blocks underneath your palms. Just keep your arms shoulder width distance apart, just like chaturanga arms. And if you'd like, you can begin to release even more, walking your hands back maybe. Just keep them shoulder width distance, bending your elbows as you move them back. Letting the crown of your head draw down towards the mat. Releasing the back of the neck to keep it nice and long. Shifting more weight into the toes, but keeping the heels on the mat. And you're still firming and pinning those outer hips in. Kneecaps draw up towards the hips to engage the legs. Hold for one more breath. All right. Well, stay low, but start to lift yourself up about halfway. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Spine nice and long. Adding a twist here. So start to walk your hands over to the right side and bring your left hand, if you can, to the outside edge of your right, either shin or ankle or knee. Slight bend in the knees if you need to, but we'll take a nice deep inhale as you lengthen through your spine. And exhale, add your twist. Send your right arm up to the sky. If this is too much, you can release your right arm to your right hip. Just try to open that right shoulder, wrapping the left side ribs underneath, opening the right ribs up to the sky. So make this your twist. Just keep pressing down through the feet, shifting the weight into the toes. Maybe the gaze looks up towards the sky. Keep a nice long spine. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release both arms. Come back through center. And we'll walk over to the left side. Again, this time bring your right arm to the outside of your left leg, either ankle or shin or gently on the knee. Great inhale as you lengthen through your spine. And exhale, send that left arm up to the sky. So remember, opening, adding your twist here. You can always release that left hand to your left hip if you'd like. You can also add a bind. Left hand comes behind your back, wrapping under that right thigh. Just try to roll those right side ribs under, opening the left shoulder up to the sky. Keep creating length. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left arm down. Come back through center. And then heel toe your feet back into hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold here. All right, so you're in your forward fold, feet hips width distance. We have a couple different variations for another wrist release here. First option, Padahastasana. If you have this, slightly bend your knees. Bring the backs of your hands to the mat. Slip your hands underneath your feet so the toes come up towards the wrists. Then you can begin to straighten your legs, letting the crown of the head draw down towards the mat. Just a little bit of a wrist release here. If this is a little too much here, you can't quite get your hands underneath your feet, no worries. Stay in your forward fold. With your arms hanging heavy, you'll curl your hands so that the fingertips try to scratch your wrists. Depending on your flexibility or mobility, that may or may not happen, but just the active engagement of trying to draw those fingers towards the wrists. You give them a nice little stretch here. Holding for 2 breaths wherever you are, either hands underneath the feet with the backs of the hands to the mat, or you're gently trying to stretch the backs of your wrists for 1 more breath. All right, again, staying low. We'll add another twist here. So if you have a block, you can place it in between your feet, just as an option here. And then with your left hand, we'll place it in between both feet. Bring your right hand to your right hip. We'll add a twist. So begin by inhaling, lengthening, send the crown of the head forward, and then exhale, twist and open that right shoulder up to the sky. You can stay right here, or again, same options as when we had our wide-legged stance. Extend the right arm up to the sky, or you can internally rotate, add a bind with that right arm tucking underneath that left thigh. Whatever option you have, keep your legs engaged, so keep drawing the kneecaps up. Hold for 1 more breath. Exhale, release your bind, release your arm back down to the mat. We'll switch to the other side. So bring your right palm in between your feet, either on the block, on the mat, or fingertips to the mat. And then bring your left hand to your left hip. Before you twist, add your length. Send your heart forward, send the crown of your head forward. And exhale, then you twist. Twist from the navel up. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the sky. Same option with your arm, left arm up to the sky, palm maybe faces forward, or you can keep your hand on your hip or hand underneath that right thigh. Keep drawing those right ribs under, opening the left ribs up to the sky. Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release, releasing both arms down. Stay in your forward fold. Set your prop off to the side if you were using it. We'll come back up to standing nice and slow. Press down through your feet, slight bend in your knees, and inhale as you start to roll up your spine, 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slow again. Chin is the last thing to arrive, and once you come all the way up, bring your arms out and up overhead. Nice long stretch, fingertips to the sky, and exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, coming back up through the top of your mat, feet hips width distance, arms down to the sides, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Moving into our chair pose, Utkatasana. So knees bend, hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. Holding your Utkatasana for 2 breaths here. Keep your spine nice and long, so avoid arching or rounding. Yes, Coney, what's going on, buddy? Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release into your forward fold. On your inhale, lift halfway, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Back into your plank pose. Holding plank for 3 breaths. We're not moving through our vinyasa. We'll move up to down dog in just a moment. Just keep holding your plank, firming those outer upper arms in. Again, you always have the option to drop down to your knees. All right, so skipping the vinyasa, lifting the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Now we'll lift the right leg up and back to hip height. So flex those right toes. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thigh. Maybe your left ankle draws a little closer to the mat. The left heel draws down. All right, we'll shift forward. So bend the right knee into your chest. Start to shift your torso forward. Step the right foot up to the top of the mat. With the right foot at the top, we'll drop the left heel down, opening up into our warrior 2. Pressing down through the feet and lifting the torso out and up. Arms extend nice and long, shoulder width, shoulder height. Okay, so check in with your foundation. Make sure the right toes are facing forward, left toes are facing the long edge side of your mat. Keep softening the shoulders down away from the ears. Burn this right hip in and under. Maybe you can sink a little bit lower with the gaze over those right fingertips. Keep the shoulders squared to the long edge side of your mat. Hold for 1 more breath. All right, now straighten the front leg. Release the left arm back to the left hip and bring the right arm up to the sky. Add a reverse Viparita Vinyasa, Virabhadrasana. And then bend that front knee, release back into your warrior two. And then spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that right foot. Send the right foot to meet the back foot. Now we have the option to vinyasa. So knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet down, press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Maybe your baby cobra. Maybe you start to straighten the arms into full cobra. On your exhale, gently release down. Curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back through down dog. Come through plank pose first if you need to. All right, in your down dog, we'll switch to the other side. So lift the left leg up and back to hip height, flexing the left toes. Keep pressing and drawing that right heel back and down, chest pressed back towards the thighs. Hold for one more breath here. Bring the left knee into your chest as you shift forward. Step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Drop the right heel down so the right toes face the long edge side of your mat. Press down through your feet and inhale, lift up into your warrior two. Check your foundation. Left toes face forward. Right toes face the long edge side. Shoulder square to the long edge side of your mat as well. Gazes over those left fingertips with the arms up at shoulder height. Really extend out through those fingertips, but soften the shoulders away from the ears. Firm this outer left hip in and under. Left knee draws towards the pinky side edge. Pressing back to the outer edge of that right heel. Holding for one more breath. All right, reversing our warrior. Straightening the front leg. Release the right arm to the right hip. And inhale as you extend and lift those left fingertips to the sky. Add your side bend over your right side. Viparita Virabhadrasana, reverse warrior. Holding here for one more breath. Keep lifting out of your hips. And exhale, bend that front knee, release back into your warrior two. And then spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that front foot. Lift up on the back right heel. Send the left foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa through or skip it. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Lower all the way or halfway down to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale through your back bend. Baby cobra, full cobra, maybe upward facing dog with your knees off the mat. Then curl the toes under. Lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 2 breaths. Keep firming the outer upper arms in. Elbow creases start to face forward. Crown of the head just draws down. All right, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. We'll inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Back to your chair pose. Knees bend, hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. And exhale, straighten the legs. Bring the arms down to your sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, at the top of the mat, working through tree pose here, our favorite balancing pose. So start with your feet hips width distance, arms down to your sides. Shift a little weight into the left side, the left leg. Bend the right knee, open the right knee out to the side. Option to keep the toes down, bring the bottom of the right foot into the right shin. Maybe you lift up off the mat, or you can skip the knee, bottom of the right foot in towards that left thigh. Now bring your hands to the center of your chest once you find your balance. And really root down through that foot. Firm this outer left hip in, drawing the tailbone down, lifting these frontal hip points up. So you're rooting down to rise, lifting all the way up through the crown of your head. If you'd like, you can raise your arms, grow your branches, palms face in, soften the shoulders down away from the ears. We're here for 3 to 4 breaths. So again, concentration and coordination. So where can you send your breath? Where can it help to root you down here? This comes easy for you. Maybe you go for a challenge. Maybe you close one eye, close the other. Use your breathing to help you stay nice and secure. One more breath here in your tree pose. All right, we could stay here all day, right? We'll gently release the hands through the center. Bring the right knee in through center and release the right foot down. Arms down to your side. Just shake your legs out a little bit before we move to the other side. All right, start in your Tadasana pose. Palms forward, feet hips width distance. Shift weight into the right leg. Bend your left knee and open that left foot out to the side. Again, same options as before. Bottom of the left foot can come into that left shin with the toes on the mat or off, or maybe you bring the bottom of the left foot into that right thigh. Once you've found your balance, bring your hand to the center of your chest for a moment here. Really press down through all four corners of that right foot, especially the inside edge, and then firm this right hip in. It's easy to let it fall out, so we really want to firm that in. Draw the tailbone down, lift these frontal hip points up. Find your balance, find your poise here. Now you can grow your branches when you're ready. Arms up overhead, palms face in, shoulders soften. Maybe you're inside where you might have kids or critters or something to distract you or try to challenge you even more. Or maybe you're outside like me where you have the wind and the noise. Just stay steady in your concentration here. 2 more breaths. Last breath here. All right, gently release the hands down through center. Knee comes back through center and release that left foot down. Let's make sure you're still at the top of your mat. Feet hips width distance, arms down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, moving back into our chair pose. Knees bend, hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. Holding here for a couple breaths. We're adding our twists though, so bring your hands to the center of your chest. Keep your spine nice and long. Before we twist, make sure you can gaze down and see your toes, and your ankles, knees, and hips should all be in the same parallel line. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Then on your exhale, twist to your right. Keep drawing that left hip back. Option to stay up or release your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Either way, you're drawing that right shoulder back. And if you'd like to advance further, release the left arm down to the mat, right arm up to the sky. Maybe you add your twist. Keep holding for 1 more breath. And exhale as you release back through center, hands to the center of your chest, back into your chair pose. Take an inhale to prepare. I know it's a lot, but we're moving to the opposite side. So on your exhale, twist to your left. Again, you can stay right here or release your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Again, make sure all your knees and ankles are on the same line, drawing your right hip back. Left shoulder raises up towards the sky. If you'd like, split your arms, right fingertips to the mat, left arm up to the sky. Maybe your left palm rotates forward. Hold for 1 more breath. And then exhale, release into your forward fold. Let it all go. A lot of concentration required in those twists, those balancing, those strengths. Just let it all go. Let the crown of your head draw down, lifting your hips up towards the sky. 1 more breath here in your forward fold. All right, let's inhale as we lift halfway. Bring your hands to the shins, nice flat back, just to reset. Exhale, rebend, forward fold. Let's plant our palms, step both feet back. Lift our hips right up and back into our downward facing dog. From our down dog, we'll lift the right leg up and back to hip height, flexing those right toes. Keep pressing the back left heel back and down. Maybe it gets a little closer to the mat. And then bend your right knee into your chest. Shift forward, step your right foot up to the top of the mat. Both toes are facing forward here. Now, option to keep that left knee up or down. Make sure both toes are facing forward either way, pressing down through your feet, and inhale as you lift your torso up, arms up overhead. So again, this left knee can be up or down. You can play around just to see where your capabilities are today. And with the arms up overhead, palms face each other, we'll add a twist to the right. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist to the right and open up. So lower body stays just as it is. You're twisting from the navel up. Arms come out. Palms face away from your body. Keep your arms up at shoulder height. So ideally your hips are still facing towards the short edge side of your mat. Shoulders, arms, chest, and face is facing towards the long edge side. Keep holding for one more breath. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift your arms back up overhead. And exhale, hands down through your center, setting up for warrior three. So inhale, shift forward 45 degrees. If that knee is down, curl the toes under, lift that left knee up. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. And exhale, shift forward, lift that left leg up and back to hip height. Warrior. So torso and back leg are lifting up parallel to the mat. Keep flexing the back foot, but draw the left hip down. You can always release the right fingertips to the mat. Add a little more challenge, extending the arms forward, palms face each other. Keep firming this right hip in, hold for one more breath. And then bend your front knee, release that left leg back, lift back up into your high lunge. Then exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Send that right foot to meet your left foot. Option to vinyasa through or skip it. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Lower all the way or halfway down to the mat. Top of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Exhale as you curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Setting up for the other side this time. So lift the left leg up and back to hip height, holding for 2 breaths. So keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Make sure the knee and the toes still face down towards the mat. All right, bend the left knee into your chest, shift forward. Step the left foot up to the top of your mat. Keep both toes facing forward. Again, you have the option to keep that right knee down or keep it lifted. Either way, both toes facing forward and both feet on either lane. If you had trouble balancing in that first option on the first side, maybe your legs can stay a little wider. Now press down through your feet and inhale, lift your torso up, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, settle in. So keep pressing back through that back right heel. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward. Adding a twist in a moment. So take a nice deep inhale to lengthen. And then exhale, twist to your left. So over that front knee, keeping the lower body just as is, and twisting from the navel up, lowering your arms to shoulder height. Holding here for 3 breaths. I know it's a lot, but keep pressing down through that left heel. Try to stay as slim as you can. As if there were 2 sides of the wall that are closing in on you. How small can you get? Maybe you turn your neck to look back behind those left fingertips. Hold for 1 more breath. And then inhale, come back to center. Bring both arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center. Setting up for warrior three. Inhale as you shift forward 45 degrees. If that back knee is down, lift and curl the toes under to lift that back leg up. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, shift forward, lifting up off the back leg, really lifting up into your warrior three. So right leg lifts up, torso lowers to parallel to the mat. If you'd like, you can lower your fingertips down to the mat for stability, flexing the back toes. Maybe the arms extend forward, palms face each other. Just keep dropping that right hip down, firming the left hip in towards the midline. 1 more breath here in your warrior three. Bend that front knee, release that right leg back, lift up into your high lunge just for a breath. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Step the left foot to meet the back foot. Last vinyasa here. If you'd like, take it or skip it. Shift forward, bend the elbows lower all the way or halfway down. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift into your back bend. Draw the tailbone towards the heels, elbows draw in. Exhale as you gently release. Curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 2 breaths. We're not quite done here. All right, now in your down dog, shift forward to your knees. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Come into your tabletop pose. Now from your tabletop, dropping down into your forearm tabletop where we were before. So elbows underneath the shoulders. Keep your forearms parallel with the palms pressing down to the mat. All right, now from here, we'll curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under into a forearm plank pose. Now, start to walk your feet in closer so that your hips start to lift up. Keep your arms and forearms just as they are. As the toes come closer towards your
Elbows, the hips lift up. You're lifting into your dolphin pose. So let the crown of the head draw down, but the head is off the mat. So make sure you're lifting and drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Now we're holding here for 3 to 4 breaths. If this is too much, just release back down into your knees down, forearm tabletop. Otherwise, if you'd like to advance, we'll lift one leg and lift the other. So shift weight into the left leg and lift the right leg up and back. Flexing the right toes, just lift as high as you can, but keep the knees and the toes facing down. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs, just like in your down dog. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that right foot down. Switch to the other side, so lift the left leg up and back, flexing the toes. Keep the knees and the toes facing down. Pressing the right ankle back and down. Chest draws back, hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release those left toes down. Walk the toes back out into your forearm tabletop. And then lower your chest, lower your hips down. And then keep your chest up, lowering into Sphinx pose. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Make sure your feet are hips width distance. Shoulders are still over your elbows. Palms and forearms are still parallel. Just stay here in your Sphinx pose for a couple breaths, allowing that low back to release. Heart still draws forward, tailbone draws towards the backs of your heels. 2 more breaths here in your Sphinx pose. Let's allow this to be a more restorative pose here, coming back to your breath, concentrating on finding ease in your pose. All right, we'll stay low. Gently make a little basket for your forehead to rest on, so grab opposite elbows and just lower your head down onto your forearms. Then once you've lowered, bend your knees, and we'll gently let the feet rock from side to side. A little more of a low back release here as well. All right, coming back to stillness. Release your feet back down to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat. We'll add a shoulder opener. So to set up for this, we'll release our forehead to the mat. Extend your arms out into a T shape, palms facing down. And we'll start on our left side first. So what you'll do is tent up on the right fingertips, and then start to roll over onto your left side, stacking your shoulders, stacking your hips. So right leg comes on top of the left leg, releasing the left side of your head onto your mat or underneath the block, or place a block underneath if you need to. And then with that left arm extended out, palm facing down, you can start to open up, maybe stack a little bit more. You should definitely feel this in that left side rib, left side shoulder, I should say. What's up, Coney? Options to advance this if you'd like. You can bend the right knee. Place the bottom of the right foot behind that left knee so the right knee faces up towards the sky. If this is a little too intense for that left shoulder, you can move the left hand a little closer to your hips. So reduce that angle. Maybe instead of 90 degrees with your arms extending straight out, you come down closer to 45 degrees with your left palm a little closer to your left hip. Just take 2 more breaths here in this nice little shoulder opener. Last breath. All right, gently and slowly release back to center. Back onto your belly with your forehead down, your legs extended back, both to hips width distance, arms out to a T shape. We'll switch to the other side. So tent up on those left fingertips. Gently start to walk those fingertips in as you stack your shoulders, stack your hips, releasing the right side of your head down. Nice and gentle here. Again, just be gentle to your shoulder. Let's get a nice stretch in. As we begin to settle in and find ease here, options to advance if you'd like to bend that left knee. Open the left knee up to the sky, place the bottom of the left foot behind the right knee. Then again, if this is too intense for that right shoulder, you can move the right hand a little closer to the right hip. Just take 3 slow, deep breaths here. Just concentrating on your breath, finding ease in your posture. One more breath here. All right, re-extend that left leg if the knee is bent. Gently roll back onto your stomach, placing both hands beside your hips, or beside your ribs. Keep your knees down, lift yourself up, and then send your legs off to the side. Come into a seat, but extend your legs out in front of you. All right, just checking the time to make sure we're still good here. All right. One last little twist before we wind down. Appreciate everyone just minding the technical difficulties at the beginning. So from here, we'll bend the left knee into our chest. Now, option to keep the left foot to the inside or outside of that right knee. Just make sure the entire foot comes on the mat. Now, release the left fingertips behind your back. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, twist. So right elbow to left knee. Again, using your inhales to lengthen, your exhales to twist. Keep flexing the right toes as you press that left big toe into the mat. 2 nice breaths here. One more breath. And exhale, gently release both arms to beside the hips. Extend the left leg forward. Shake your legs out a little bit. And we'll switch to the other side. So drawing the right knee into your chest. Bottom of the right foot to the inside or outside of that left knee. Right fingertips behind. Inhale, lift the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, add your twist. Left elbow, right knee. And keep the left foot flexed, pressing down through that right big toe. Drawing the right shoulder back. Maybe use your inhales to lengthen and your exhales to twist and turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release. Extend both legs nice and long. Shake them out a little bit. With your hands next to your hips, bend your knees, send your hips up a little closer to your heels, and gently lower onto your spine, either holding onto your thighs. As you lower onto your back, draw your knees into your chest. Open your knees out wide, come into your happy baby pose. So bend your knees, maybe grab the outsides of your feet, grab the outsides of your shins, or grab the outsides of your thighs. If you do grab the outsides of your feet, make sure the elbows are on the insides of your knees. Now bring the tailbone, the lower back on the mat, and try to keep your shoulders and the back of your head on the mat as well. So if you feel like either of those are popping up, maybe you draw yourself back a little bit. If you like to gently sway from side to side in your child's pose, take that. I'm sorry, in your happy baby's pose. You haven't grown up that much quite yet. All right, let's come back to center. Bring your knees back into your chest, wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. Let's lift the back of the head and the shoulders off the mat. Come into an egg-shaped squeeze. Everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, extend. Extend the legs long, extend the arms long overhead. Point the toes away from your body. Extend the fingertips nice and long. Full body stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Extend the arms down by the sides. Palms face up. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side.
Settle into your final pose of practice here, Shavasana. If you prefer any other variation, maybe with your knees bent, bottoms of the feet touching, or placing blocks underneath the knees to allow a little more release in the low back. Just choose what option calls out to you and allow yourself to settle. Knowing that whatever option you choose, make sure it's an option that allows you to find peace. Taking time to scan your body in case there's any last little bits of tension where you can soften. Sending your breath there. You can always soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Now let's begin to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rotating your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in your rotation. Coming back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now gently begin to bend your knees into your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Letting your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. And now try to keep your gaze softened as you use your top arm to press yourself up into a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. Once you've found your comfortable seat, you can rest your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face down or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. right, very grateful for all of you to join me today, and I apologize for the little bit of technical difficulties in class. Luckily, it didn't last too long, so we were able to persevere very well. But Ellen, thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for keeping tabs on the stream and letting me know that it was still looking good now. So again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in the chat or in the comments of the video. Also in the video description are other ways to reach out for me. You can reach me by email, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. I will be teaching another class on free Baltimore yoga this Saturday at 10 a.m. Will be similar to this class, hopefully less interruptions. But if you wanted to take a Saturday morning class, you can meet me there. Otherwise, next Wednesday at 7 a.m., we'll be here for another class, joined by Oliver and Coney, I'm sure, as well. Yes, namaste, Ellen. Thank you so much. Appreciate you bearing with me again today for class. Hope you got a nice workout in. Take however you feel into the rest of your day and the rest of your week. I want you all to take care. And thank you so much. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. Peace.